In February 1944, American carrier planes caught an entire Japanese fleet at anchor and did not stop for 2 days. Nearly 60 ships went to the bottom in one lagoon. Most of them are still there. Today, you can dive down and swim through a fleet that never left. Trucks still sitting in cargo holds, gas masks still hanging on hooks, fuel still leaking out after more than 80 years. What you want to know is why an entire Imperial Japanese fleet was simply left where it sank, and what state it's actually in right now. Some of what I found I had to check twice before I believed it. Historic Truk Lagoon sits in the middle of the Caroline Islands, a ring of volcanic peaks surrounded by coral reef in the western Pacific. By 1944, the Japanese Navy had turned it into their most important forward base outside the home islands. They called it the Gibraltar of the Pacific. Warships, submarines, cargo freighters, oil tankers, and repair vessels packed the lagoon at any given time. It was protected on almost every side by natural reef, which made a direct naval assault nearly impossible. For most of Thur, Truk was considered untouchable. That confidence would not serve if February 1944, the attack American. Intelligence had been watching Truk for months. In February 1944, the U.S. Navy launched Operation Hailstone, a 2-day carrier strike built specifically to gut the base before Ioni, planned amphibious landing. On the morning of February 17th, carrier aircraft from Task Force 58 swept in low over the anchorage. Most of Japan's heavy warships had already been withdrawn days earlier, tipped off by earlier reconnaissance. What remained was the support fleet, the vessels that kept the War Machine running. Freighters loaded with ammunition, tankers full off-will, transport ships carrying supplies and men. For nearly 48 hours straight, American bombers and torpedo planes worked through the anchorage, almost unopposed. Ship after ship took hits and went down at anchor, with nowhere to run inside the reef that was supposed to protect them. By the time it was over, close to 60 vessels had been sunk. Well over 200 aircraft had been destroyed on the ground before they ever got airborne. Thousands of Japanese sailors and support personnel were killed, many of them trapped below decks on ships that never had a chance to get underway. The base that had been Japan's Pacific stronghold for 2 years was gutted in 2 days. The wrecks. Today, here's the part that got me. Truk Lagoon isn't just a naval graveyard, it's a frozen supply chain. Because most of what sank were cargo ships and tankers rather than warships built for combat, the wrecks are packed with the actual material of a nation at war. Divers today swim past stacked artillery shells still in their crates, gas masks still hanging where a sailor left them, trucks and light tanks still lashed down in cargo holds never unloaded, bulldozers, aircraft parts, sake bottles still sealed. Coral has grown directly over gun turrets and deck railings, turning steel holes into artificial reefs thick with fish. Some wrecks sit upright in as little as 30 feet of water. Others lead a perv, past 200 feet, requiring technical diving to reach safely, and the fuel is still there too. Several of the tankers and larger freighters still carry oil in their tanks, and it is still slowly working its way out through corroded hull plating. Sheens are regularly spotted on the surface of the lagoon. More than 8 decades later, why has nobody cleared it so? Why hasn't any of this been salvaged or cleaned up or removed? The first answer is depth and scale. Nearly 60 wrecks scattered across a lagoon this size represents one of the largest concentrations of sunken tonnage. Anywhere on Earth, there is no single operation that could realistically clear a site of that size, and no government with the will or the budget to fund it. The second answer is more direct. Many of these ships are a steel carrying the remains of the men who died aboard them under international norms around sunken military vessels. That makes them war graves, the same designation applied to the Arizona or the Bismarck. Japan has never authorized large-scale disturbance of the site. Local authorities in Truk, where the lagoon now sits within the Federated States of Micronesia, treat the wrecks the same way, as protected memorial sites rather than salvage targets. Then there's the oil. This is the part that surprised me most. Rather than raise the ships, the response has mostly gone the opposite direction. International teams, including a major Japanese-funded salvage effort, have spent years going wreck to wreck, carefully pumping out remaining oil in place, without moving or disturbing ships themselves. The goal isn't recovery. It's containment. Leave the fleet exactly where it is. Just stop it from leaking. And unearth all of that sits the simplest reason of all. The wrecks are now the entire local economy. Truk Lagoon has become one of the most significant re-diving destinations on the planet, drawing divers specifically because the fleet was left intact and largely untouched. Removing the wrecks wouldn't just disturb a grave. It would erase the reason people travel there at all. Conclusion, so that's where the Truk fleet sits today. Scattered across a lagoon in the middle of the Pacific. Corals slowly swallowing steel, cargo still lashed in the holds. Oil still seeping out after more than 80 years. It's too vast to salvage, too significant to disturb, and too valuable. Both as a grave and as a living reef. Tover fully clear. An entire fleet went in for repairs and supplements and never left. Now, if you found this one interesting and want to see more wrecks like it, let me know in the comments and I'll go find the next one.